Elias was an old farmer, poor in money but rich in patience. His farm was small, yet meticulously cared for. Neat rows of green cabbages lined the dark soil, and bright red tomatoes shone like polished rubies beneath the sun. Each morning before dawn, Elias worked the earth with steady, practiced hands. Each evening, he watered every plant carefully, tending them with the quiet attentiveness one might offer a trusted companion. At the very center of his farm stood a magnificent tree. Its leaves were broad and deep green. Elias would rest beneath its canopy. Nearby flowed a narrow river of clear, gentle water. He would drink from it, wipe the sweat from his brow, and lean back against the sturdy trunk with a grateful sigh. The tree was remarkably beautiful. Colorful birds gathered along its branches. Some built their nests there, others filled the mornings with sweet song. Yet despite its splendor, the tree had never borne fruit. Not once. Elias often wondered why. In the evenings, he would sit in a worn wooden chair outside his small cottage and gaze toward the tree. He noticed tiny golden lights flickering among the leaves. They shimmered briefly, glowed gently, and then vanished. He would rub his tired eyes and attribute the vision to exhaustion. He never knew the truth. Hidden deep within the crown of the great tree was a tiny kingdom, a fairy realm woven among leaves and branches. It was crisp and green, adorned with sparkling dew and luminous petals. Tiny fairies drifted through the air on shimmering wings, some riding delicate butterflies, their laughter chiming like distant wind bells. Their queen was the smallest among them. Her name was Queen Mirabelle. Though small in stature, she possessed deep wisdom. Each night, she and her people gathered near the outer leaves to look down upon Elias. They watched him labor beneath the sun, rest in the shade, and sit alone in quiet contemplation. They understood what he did not. His care for the tree safeguarded their entire world. The life of the tree and the life of the fairy kingdom were bound together. If the tree fell, their realm would vanish. One year, merchants arrived in the village offering generous payment for timber. Their proposals stirred excitement among the townspeople. Soon the valley echoed with the sound of axes. One by one, trees fell. Fields that had once been green became exposed and bare. Wealth began to circulate. New tools appeared, larger homes were constructed, and fine garments replaced worn clothing. Yet as prosperity increased, something in the village grew colder. Elias observed the changes with quiet sadness. When the merchants approached him, they gestured toward the great tree in the center of his farm. They made it clear that its timber alone would earn more money than all his vegetables combined. Elias refused. To him, the tree was not a commodity. It offered shade, sheltered birds, and preserved the health of his soil. He would not cut it. The merchants mocked him. Some villagers whispered that he was foolish and stubborn, choosing a tree over wealth. Elias remained resolute. Months passed. Those who had sold their trees enjoyed temporary prosperity, yet without roots to anchor and shade the land, the soil began to dry. The sun beat down harder. Winds swept unimpeded across open fields. Crops faltered. Elias's farm, however, remained green. His cabbages were full, his tomatoes sweet, and the soil beneath the great tree stayed cool and moist. Jealousy quietly took root in the hearts of his neighbors. Murmurs spread that something about Elias's land was unfair. One evening, a group of villagers confronted him beneath the towering branches. They insisted that the tree must be the cause of his success and proposed cutting it down. Elias stepped forward and placed his hands firmly against the trunk, refusing to let them touch it. To them, it was only wood. To him, it was life. They departed, but resentment lingered. That night, while Elias slept, the villagers returned with axes. Queen Mirabelle saw them first. Fear rippled through the fairy kingdom. Against human strength, they seemed impossibly small. If the tree fell, their world would end. Mirabelle flew to the edge of the leaves and summoned all her strength. Instantly, the golden lights that Elias had glimpsed for years flared brilliantly. The tree began to glow from within. The ground trembled softly. The nearby river shimmered and rose, forming a protective ring around the trunk. The villagers froze in terror. Axes slipped from their hands as radiant light wrapped around the tree like a living shield. Fear overtook them, and they fled into the darkness. From the doorway of his cottage, Elias watched the luminous branches in astonishment. His heart pounded, yet he felt no fear, only awe. He realized then that the tree was no ordinary tree. At dawn, Queen Mirabelle revealed herself to him for the first time, glowing gently in the early light. Elias did not recoil. Instead, he knelt. The fairy queen acknowledged his quiet guardianship. He had protected their home even when others ridiculed him. Elias responded with humility. He had merely preserved what gave life. In return, Mirabelle vowed that they would now protect him. She lifted her tiny hands, and the tree shimmered once more. For the first time in its long existence, golden fruits began to grow among the leaves, glowing like fragments of captured sunlight. Their seeds, she declared, would restore what had been damaged. By morning, the villagers witnessed astonishing change. The dry soil in their fields softened. Small green shoots pushed through the earth. The air felt cooler and cleaner. At the center of Elias's farm stood the great tree, radiant with golden fruit. Shame filled the villagers' hearts. One by one, they approached Elias in humility. He did not rebuke them. Instead, he offered seeds from the renewed tree and encouraged them to plant again, this time with respect for the land. Gradually, the valley transformed. Trees were replanted, fields revived, birds returned. The air once again carried the sound of song. Elias never became wealthy in gold. His cottage remained modest, his clothing simple, yet his farm flourished, and his neighbors came to respect him. Each night, the great tree glowed softly as golden lights flickered gently among its leaves. Elias had begun as a man poor in wealth, but he had always been rich in patience, courage, and conviction. In the end, it was not money that saved the village, but the steadfast resolve of one man who refused to abandon what was right.